scissor doors, Lambo doors at 75 lakh rupees. Also 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds, also at 75 lakh rupees. Plus something that looks really cool, two-seater, convertible. At this price, you're not going to get this kind of performance or also this kind of street cred, at least street presence, because this definitely will get you noticed. How are you going to get Lambo doors at this price? Also at this price, under a crore, even 1.5 crores, what gives you 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds? So this is betting on democratizing power, democratizing street presence, and also harking back to MG's roots. Not me, but my parents know of MG because of those lithe, nimble, small sports cars, those two-door sports cars. This is kind of harking back to MG's original heritage, but also sticking with MG's EV focus. So this is electric, 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, twin motors, four-wheel drive. So that's why you get all that straight line performance and acceleration. We are at the BIC and we're going to give you a very quick impression, a first impression of the MG Cyberster. I'm telling you that because we got 3 laps, also 3 not flying laps. You're going to stopping, starting, all of that. They have a couple of cars here, a whole bunch of media over here. So it's impossible to give you a full verdict. I'll just give you first initial impressions of what the MG Cyberster is like on the track and then at the Autocross track. But what I can tell you is that this looks really cool. When you look at it on the road, especially in this blazing yellow, this is definitely going to get you noticed. What do you think of the MG Cyberster? Would you pick one over something like an M340i, something that makes nice growly noises? Let us know in the comments.
Okay, let me quickly walk you through the cabin of the MG Cyberster. Now, the steering wheel, obviously flat bottom, a little too large and quite meaty, sort of like BMW M steering wheels. Whole bunch of buttons here, and these buttons are to control the screens. You get the Super Sport button, that's for your launch control. Now you get 3 small screens which are adjusted and laid out sort of towards the driver in this curved kind of layout. Gives it a cockpit feel, which is actually pretty good. On the right screen, that's where you get your camera display for the reverse camera. That's nice. On the left one, you get your infotainment. The center, in the different modes, it also adjusts the different things that it shows you. In the Super Sport mode, it also has a simulation of a tachometer. Not really required, but it's there. This over here is to read your face to make sure you are awake and not drowsy. You can adjust the modes via the right paddle and the regen. They're calling it curse, but the regen via the left panel. Now, on the center console, you have these physical buttons for your drive mode selector, which is nice. And to the left of it, you have another digital screen where there's a whole bunch of features, ambient lighting, the speed at which these doors open, whole bunch of things here. And there's another panel on top for your aircon, which is nice. The seat controls are on the doors, and the seat, well, it's a little too high up. But overall, a very nice cabin. And now that it is starting to rain, I'm going to put the roof up. And that's the Cyberster. Let's get back on the track.
So we've got it in the Super Sport mode. Brake torque it, but I don't know what the term is for an EV. So left foot on the brake, right on the gas. Launch control, something's happened over there and it's fast, man. So 0 to 100 in a claimed 3.2 seconds. That's 170, 180, 190, 200 on the clock, 210, and that's the max. So probably does a true 200 kilometers per hour. So it is fast. The seatbelt is now yanking at me. It's properly fast. Let's see what it does around the first corner. Okay, grip is there, but there's also a lot of ESP intervention. So let's do a couple of laps of the BIC. You can feel the weight of the car, acceleration, response. That's pretty intense. But the ESP cuts in pretty aggressively and quite early. Now around the parabola. Well, there is a lot of weight to manage and it doesn't feel like a light nimble sports car. Brakes are good, but there is also a bit of heavy understeer. So first impressions, it is quick, there is no question about it. It doesn't feel nimble and agile, doesn't feel playful. That's also because of the weight. It's almost 2 tons in weight, 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, 503 bhp, 775 newton meters of torque. So in terms of sheer power and the performance that you get at this price, at least a straight line acceleration that you get at this price, it's unbeatable. A little more playfulness would be nice. The brakes actually are good. Again, this is an all-wheel drive setup. And then down the back straight, we already seen that it does 210 max on the clock. That's 196, 197, 200. Yeah, 25. Instructor saying, "Chalo bas karo." Actually, surprisingly, you can feel a bit of rear bias. So every time you chuck it into the corner, you can feel the rear move a little bit, adjusting the attitude of the car. So they have tried to make it and give it that sporty feel. But of course, every time you step on the gas, then ESP begins to cut in and you can't really get the tail out fully unless you switch off ESP completely, and we'll try that later on. Right now, with instructor beside me, no chance of that happening. But around the parabola, I was doing what, 110, 120. So it is pulling some decent speeds. You can probably take it to the drag races and have some fun, that's for sure. And it looks super cool. Lambo doors at 75 lakh rupees. Now that's value for money. Also, in terms of sheer value, the price to performance that you get on the Cyberster, that is really good. 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds, sub 1 crore. What do you get that gives you that kind of acceleration? So you get a lot of performance for the price, and also you get a really nice cabin. The seat, it feels a bit too high. I would have liked the seat to go lower down. Now the battery is 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. That has a height of 110 millimeters. MG claims that is the thinnest battery pack that you can get. But still, because of the battery is under my ass, I am sitting a little higher up. In a sports car, you would like to sit a little further down. And yep, that's our super quick impressions of the MG Cyberster. Can't wait to drive it on the road to see what it's like on the road. But what do you think of the Cyberster? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so time to test out the handling capabilities of the MG Cyberster. So we're starting with the slalom. I've got it in Super Sport. Do we have it in Super Sport? Yeah. Okay, now we got it in Super Sport. Let's go. Okay, it's heavy. Okay, and now we've got the Autocross. So you got a
straight through that gate, brake before the cones. Straight to the right into that lane, straight through these cones, to the left, brake. Perfect. To the left here, brake hard, left around the orange little one, hard.
Okay, so that was a lap of the Autocross track in the MG Cyberster. Obviously, while driving, can't really do much talking, but first impressions, there is power, there is good reactions getting out of the corner, there is good amount of grip. Also, when you want to get the tail out, obviously it doesn't let you. We're not being allowed to switch off the ESP, so I can't tell you like over the limit handling what it feels like, but it is safe, it is competent, it is quick, it does make your heart race. That I can tell you for sure. Let's now reconfirm our thoughts on another lap. But also you can feel the weight of it. It's 1.9 tons or something like that. So you definitely know that you are piloting a heavy car, and it is also soft. It's not that sharp as you would want from a sports car. Okay, now figure of 8 without switching off ESP. Great. Yeah, so I got my foot on the floor, but ESP has cut in. This is all-wheel drive, but it's also set up for safe understeer. Lambo doors are just one part of the MG Cyberster's recipe. Of course, at 3.2 seconds to 100 kilometers per hour, you're not going to get that kind of performance under a crore of rupees. Even under 1.5 crore rupees, that kind of straight line performance, you aren't going to get anywhere. So great in terms of acceleration. Top speed, that's limited to 200 kilometers per hour. We got 210, but that's because of the slight downslope down the back end of the BIC straight. But otherwise, 200 kilometers per hour, that's the reasonable top speed. And that's enough really for most intents and purposes. And fact of the matter is that this is not really a sports car. Now, purists are going to say that this is no Cayman, this is no Boxster. But fact of the matter is also you won't get any Cayman or Boxster at this kind of price. Also, you see the ground clearance? This looks reasonably good for our roads. I don't think it's going to touch anywhere until you do something stupid. Also, you can feel the comfort, the softness in the car. That is kind of a drawback on the track, and that's why I'm saying this will work better on the road. But on the road, this will feel comfortable. This is something that you can cruise around in, you can do launch control runs in. Range, we haven't even spoken about range. 580 kilometers on the MIDC cycle, 433 kilometers WLTP range. So real world, you will get around 350, 380 kilometers of range. So enough for your weekend drives. This will definitely get you noticed all over the place. Honestly, I was a bit skeptical about the MG Cyberster, but if you put it into the right perspective, at 75 lakhs, what sports car do you get? What car do you get that looks so cool? What car do you get that really accelerates well? And in terms of handling, while it is soft, it actually handles pretty well. That sharpness that you want in a sports car is not there, but then again, if you look at the compromises, if you look at the value that it offers, this actually for India and for the requirements of customers out here and what the market situation is like, is actually pretty impressed. I'm far more impressed than I expected to be. This, I'm sure, will do well. You will see a fair few of these on the road.